Enter mode.
Alrighty, hello everyone. How are y'all doing? I hope we are doing well. Because I am. I'm doing quite well. I forgot to take a drink of water while my intro screen was going. Give me a second. That's better. Yay, clicked into the game. I'll take that as a yes. So, we left off somewhere important last time, and I know we did. And I had plans for what to do at the end of stream. But terrible news. 1, I forgot them. 2, I did not watch the VOD. So, yeah. Was it something we had to do with Kano? I'll take that as yes. No. Where's the time chart? That's what I want. No. Okay, what were we doing? Okay, that one's on a to be continued. This Osawa changed. Okay, this one changed, so this is what we need to do. Haha, I have remembered. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if you could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankfully for a few moments to himself at last. He hadn't been there long when he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. The man flashed a look back over his shoulder, then took his daughter by the hand and pulled her off the road. They crouched behind some bushes, hiding. As he looked around, wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway. "Help!" the man called out. "Help me! Please! If these guys catch me, Oh!" The father's eyes went wide when he got a look at Osawa's face. You're... Huh? Osawa thought he'd recognize this fugitive, too, though he couldn't remember from where. "There's some real nasty guys after us," the man said. "I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, at least help keep my daughter safe." "Probably you should go to the police if..." "No! They wouldn't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you. Help me. I'm sorry, but... Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter," the man pleaded. Osawa looked down at the girl. Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria, just a little. "These people need professional help. Call the police. Can't stand idly by. Help them evade the pursuers." I don't know. Yeah. I get to make this decision. In theory, in real life, really should call the police, but I think this. Osawa couldn't just stand idly by. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. "Alright, follow me." "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." He led the two to the back of his house, into the storage shed out back. That is a hilarious fucking photo, oh my god. "You can lay low here for a while if you'd like," he said. The shed was fairly large. There was plenty of space for the man and his daughter. "I'm so sorry," the man said. "I'm not sure how I could possibly thank you." "Don't worry." Osawa closed the shed door and headed back out to take a look around. Two thuggish-looking men came running up to him. No doubt, these were the people the father and his daughter was running from. "You there," said the one in sunglasses. "You seen a guy and his daughter around here?" "They should have come this way." I'm not, clicking on that hint because I've already read it in a past stream." There was a hint of menace in his voice. "A man and his daughter. Ah, yes, I think I saw them run through here." "Which way they'd go?" "That way." "Sweet, we almost got him." The pair sped away. Osawa waited until they were fully out of sight, then called out to the shed. "All right, they're gone." The door stayed closed, however. "I'm really sorry," the man called back from inside. "Those guys might come back this way. Is it okay if we held here a little while longer?" He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. "Sure, go ahead," Osawa said. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. And I think we've already seen all of this. Yep. To be continued, to be continued. Now Kano's is going to change, and then we can move on to the next hour. Perfect. I do like how it gets progressively harder to try and figure out what to do. Because before it was relatively easy, and you could put the puzzle pieces together pretty quick. But I do like how it gets progressively harder. That is nice. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. "You ready?" he asked. "Just give the word." There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And sure enough, the second man approached the one holding the attaché case. After exchanging a scant handful of words, he took the case and walked off. "Sasayama? I'll handle the guy with the case." "Got it." Sasayama broke into a run. This feels a bit loud, one moment. There we go. Sasayama broke into a run, chasing after the man who'd taken the ransom. Kano hung up his phone and rushed to close the distance with the other man. "You there! Stop where you are!" The suspect turned, and Kano recognized his face. He was indeed a member of the foreign crime syndicate that operated in Shibuya. "Is the hostage safe?" Kano demanded. The man's only response was an unsettling grin. "Answer me!" But though he repeated the question, the man remained silent. Kano took out a pair of handcuffs, or took out his phone. I think this man's gonna run if we don't handcuff him. Took out a pair of handcuffs and reached for the suspect's wrists. Equipment used by police officers to shackle suspects. In Japan, the belt that makes up part of the officer's duty uniform has a storage pouch for a pair of handcuffs. Baton, handcuffs, and a pistol. The man pulled a knife from his breast pocket and swung it right at Kano's face. Kano managed to jerk away in time, but his momentum carried him too far backward and sprawled out on the pavement. Damn! The suspect was already making a run for it. Suddenly, a large car of Ford make skidded to a halt, blocking off the man's escape route. A tall Caucasian man jumped out. He wore sunglasses and a crisp suit. Now cornered, the fleeing suspect brandished his knife. "Be careful!" But Kano didn't even have time to finish shouting his warning. There's a metallic ping as the knife went flying through the air. The man in sunglasses had snapped his right foot up, sending the weapon flying. As the attacker's jaw dropped in astonishment, the newcomer proceeded to elbow him right in the face. That's kind of fucking badass. The blow connected, and the suspect went down hard. Ah. Ow. The fallen man turned his head to look at Kano. His mouth moved as if he was attempting to say something. He never got it out, and the man in the sunglasses kicked him in the face. With a groan, the perp slumped down, unconscious. "Hey! What the hell are you doing?" Kano snapped. He stormed over to the man in the sunglasses. The man nonchalantly dusted off his suit. "You were ordered to watch and see where these guys went, right?" He spoke in fluent Japanese. Imagine that you are a Japanese person who has never been in a situation where you are suddenly had to speak to a foreigner. You haven't used English in ages. Your tension grows. You think back to English class in school, but nothing you remember is helpful. You muster up the courage and choke out a stammered do you? The foreigner responds fluently in your own language. "Nihongo de daijoubu desu." It's all right. I speak Japanese. What happened to that Japanese sense of honor I've heard so much about? Who are you? I'm from the U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office, the man replied. An embassy is where ambassadors from a foreign country lodge and conduct much of their official diplomatic business. Under international law, ambassadors are guaranteed diplomatic immunity, and the embassy grounds are considered territory of the home nation. The U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office is responsible for the security of American diplomatic facilities and personnel, and provides American citizens in Japan with information on public order. It is located in Alaska, in the Minato ward of Tokyo. Oh, Akasaka. Akasaka, not Alaska. I was a bit confused there. Whoops. It is located in Akasaka, in the Minato ward of the Tokyo metropolis. He presented Kano with his ID. Jack Stanley, that's quite the name. I'm taking another drink of water. Give me a sec. Doing these streams dries out my mouth so much. I mean, that's not surprising, but... Alright. Jack Stanley. His title was listed as Security Assistance Officer. Kano glanced at the card shown up in... No autoplay, please. The license plate was blue with white lettering. Sorry, my mouth is just trying to hydrate itself and making too much saliva now. Could you stop that? Thanks. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But the ministry wouldn't just send some diplomat to intervene in a police investigation. Kano pulled his phone out of his pocket. Sasama's name was displayed across the LCD screen. How are things on your end, Kano? I have the suspect in custody. How about you? Sasama hesitated. He got away from me. What about the Itachi case? I'm sorry, but he's still gotta be around here somewhere. I'm going to look around some more. Sasayama hung up. What's your name, detective? Jack Stanley asked as Kano was processing this new information. Kano, from the Shibuya precinct. I can say things. Alright, Kano. I'm going to need you to follow my instructions for the next while. Why's that? Instead of answering, Stanley took out his cell phone and made a quick call. After a few moments, he held the phone out for Kano. Here, permission from your boss, he said. What? Kano squawked. He took the phone gingerly, bracing himself. Kano speaking. You imbecile! What the hell are you thinking? It was Kuze, and he was furious. Understandably so, really. Kano disobeyed a direct order, and for that, all he'd accomplished was losing track of the Itachi case. I'm sorry, sir. You really think sorry is going to cut it? You're off the force, Kano. Kano slipped, defeated. He had no reply. He knew he deserved whatever punishment he got. Still, orders from up top didn't trump the hostage's safety. If he could gone back and done it all again, he was sure he'd make the same call. Maybe that meant he wasn't detective material, but so be it. That's what I want to tell you, Kuze continued. But for now, I need you to follow the instructions of the guy there, Stanley. Do whatever he tells you. Sir? Kano hadn't seen that one coming. He disobeyed orders. That was undeniable. And yes, he knew he deserved a reprimand. But being ordered to tag along with some stranger who just turned up out of the blue? What the heck? May I ask why the U.S. Embassy is involved with this? No more questions, Kano. Step in line. please, just hold on. Sir, I have an idea what's going on here. Kuze let out an exasperated sigh. That makes two of us, kid. And with that, the director hung up. Sounded like even Kuze didn't have the whole story here, which meant the orders were coming from someplace higher. A foreign syndicate moving the ransom around the U.S. Embassy. Whatever was going on, it was more than just a local kidnapping case, and Kano was deep in the middle of it. He handed the phone back to Stanley. A few moments later, two detectives from the MPD arrived on scene. Stanley handed over the fallen criminal to them. You're chasing a bum lead, you know, Stanley said as he watched them carry the man away. What do you mean? Kano asked. I mean, this kidnapping isn't about the money. My priority is the girl's safety. Right now, your priority is doing what I tell you to do. Kano gave him a scowl, but Stanley ignored it. The guy we just, arrested, he asked. He tell you anything? No, nothing, Kano said. Really now? All trace of emotion drained from Stanley's eyes. His gaze pierced Kano like icy daggers, that held a glimmer of something dangerous. Something Kano had seen plenty of times since he joined the force. He wasn't looking into the eyes of some diplomatic liaison. No. This was a man who knew how to kill, who'd killed people before. With some effort, Kano managed to regather his sense of professionalism. He didn't tell me anything, he repeated. I just know he's a member of some foreign crime syndicate that works out of Shibuya. I probably know some of their hangouts. Show me, Stanley said, cool as an automaton. We'll take my car. Kano wiped away from the sweat that had beaded on his brow as they headed for the vehicle. He was just sliding into the passenger seat when Kuze radioed over the wireless. Okie dokie, folks, listen up. The childish tone was back in his voice, full force. Kano stiffened on reflex. He knew what that meant. So, Hitomi Osawa has, gone missing. What? Kano couldn't believe his ears. Wasn't Tatano supposed to be protecting her right now? Also, Detective Tatano hasn't radioed in. And, we can't reach him from our end either. No way, Kano blurted out. It can't be. So yeah, Kuze continued, he might have gotten caught up in this incident too. It wasn't like a detective of Tatano's stature to go incommunicado during an investigation. It could only mean that something happened to him. Something major. To be continued. I'm really liking where this is going. On to the next hour. This game's so cool. I really do like it. And something I've noticed is each character has different color editing for their stories, which is really fun. Osawa's is very monotone with very muted colors. Kano's is very realistic. Tama's is very bright. It's very, very fun. I really do like that feature. Sorry, just gonna check something here. Alright. Oh, I'm just gonna stretch out here for a sec. I think we need some lightheartedness. I'd like some lightheartedness. So we're gonna go Tama's route for right now. Bottles of burning hammer litter the pavement, shattered into tiny bits of glass. Even the recycling guy was really careless with the boxes. He shouldn't have caused this much of a mess. It looks like someone came along and actually threw them all over the place. What the heck is... What the heck with this thing? Oh, the heck with this thing. Whoa. I really can't read. I toss away the miracle stone, which has clearly brought me only bad luck. We can't have a product demo without the product, which in turn means I won't be getting paid for this whole fiasco. Okay, we can do this. We can figure something out. I try to give myself a pep talk, but I hear doubt in my own voice. I try to brainstorm anyway. Finding inspiration is like trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I rack my mind for the best course of action. At long last, I arrive at a conclusion. Somehow or another, I'm going to have to sell some burning hammer, or I'll just have to find something else to sell. Think we'll have to try and find something else. I'll just have to find something else to sell. But what could that something be? I try to think. Finding inspiration's like trying to bleed. Trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I rack my brain, searching desperately for a solution. Yeah! The Anagachis? Nah, not exactly a must-have product. And even if we could sell a few, I don't know what that'd say about the folks carrying them around. Best for the whole world if we keep them off the streets. Let's see, what else? Aha! I've got it! I pick up the miracle stone I just tossed away, clutching it firmly in my mitt. I tilt my gaze towards the heavens and make a wish. Please, grant me a miracle. And my wish is granted. What? I'd like one, please. I'll take 10. Mr. Yanagishita can barely keep up with the demand as the crowd clamors for their miracle stones. Everyone is smiling and laughing, their bodies enthusiastically swaying to and fro. You are happy. And you are happy. You are all very, very happy. Standing on stage, I hold up my miracle stone, swinging like a pendulum. You fucking hypnotizing everyone? I hold up my miracle stone, swinging it like a pendulum as I recite my magic little chant. Bye! Bye! Hit! Buy a miracle stone! Stone! Oh, stone! Stone! The room vibrates with cheering and rumbles with applause. It really is like a miracle. I think I've actually turned this disaster around. Whoever smashed all the burning hammer? I don't know who you are or where you are. But thank you. I realize now that I'm crying tears of joy. I never felt satisfaction like I feel right now, but seeing all these blissful customers purchasing one miracle stone after another feels like nothing could possibly go wrong. Honestly, I'm just grateful to God that I get to be here right now. I have the utmost conviction that this is where my life truly begins. It's not long after the epic sales event that I am hired on by Yamato Health Foods Co. Limited. Pretty soon after that, I'm on a plane bound for South America. I'm on a business trip to purchase our next product. Amazonian Miracle Mud. Oh no. Bad end. I do like the joke endings that this game has. It's very fun. We'll come back to that when we need some more lightheartedness, and we'll get through one of the heavier ones. Let's go Achi. We haven't done Achi yet today. The man with the cane crooked his finger on the trigger. Achi stepped in front of Hitomi, shielding her with his body. If you want to shoot her, you'll have to shoot me too. Suddenly, the assassin's head jerked forward. He pitched face first onto the pavement and lay there still, revealing a foreign man standing behind him. Oh, I don't like you. No. No. In one hand, the stranger clutched a metal pipe. Hitomi? Achi asked. You know that guy? Hitomi's eyes went wide. That's the man from the scramble. The one who told me to go to the van. Wait, one of the kidnappers? Why would he be helping us? I'm not sure. The newcomer fixed his eyes on Achi. Hey man, Achi approached the stranger. I'm not sure what's going on here, but thanks for the assist. Whoa! The man took a sudden swing with his pipe. Achi barely managed to dodge out of the way. What the hell? Once again, Achi made sure Hitomi was safely behind him. Guess I gotta let my fist do the talking. Oh, look at Hitomi in the back. Cute. Achi quickly adopted a fighting stance. Be careful, Hitomi warned, her voice trembling. Don't worry, it's just a pipe. I'll just snatch it away from him and make him tell us where your sister is. Achi judged the distance between them, carefully as he stared his opponent down. The metal pipe gave this thug considerable reach. One solid hit from that thing, and Achi wouldn't stand a chance. He needed to end this in one punch. The crook sized him up for a few moments, then lunged forward to attack. Now! Achi sidestepped to avoid the incoming blow, then delivered a vicious left hook to his adversary's jaw. The man went down hard. Achi gazed at his fallen foe, flexing his knuckles. The thing about guys who bring weapons to fights is they always let themselves get too cocky. He looked the guy over. The man had a tattoo peeking out from one of his ratty sleeves. Come on, buddy. You can't clock out just yet, Achi said. Get up. I have a few questions for you. He knelt down to grab the man by his collar. And he's got a gun. Halfway to his feet, the man pulled the gun from his breast pocket. Whoa! Didn't you hear you were packing heat? Achi took a quick step backward. The man's eyes brimmed with rage. He looked ready to pull the trigger at any moment. But he didn't get the chance. The man with the cane had regained consciousness. Back on his feet, he trained his own gun on the foreigner. The foreigner quickly shifted its attention to the other gunman. Oh, no you don't! Achi darted forward and kicked the kidnapper in the hand as hard as he could. The gun went flying from his grasp. With a low snarl, the man took up the metal pipe again. Rather than go for Achi, however, he charged the man with the cane. What the? Achi watched in astonishment as the two men grappled. Now's our chance! Grabbing Hitomi by the hand, Achi broke into a run. Oh, that's kind of a cute image. I like that one. They ran for quite a long time, finally stopping to rest in a quiet municipal park. As they sat catching their breath, Achi sensed a new tension in Hitomi. She hadn't said a word since their latest escape. She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good. In his mind, Achi replayed what the man with the cane had said. So, Hitomi, Achi hesitated. About what happened back there. Yeah? She sounded like she'd been far gone in her own thoughts. You gotta believe me, I have no idea who that guy was. Never seen him before in my life. Must have been saying that stuff to confuse us, to trip us up. Yeah? Hitomi said again. Is that what's been bothering you? Huh? Now's Achi's turn to go monosyllabic. Well, Achi, you're kind of famous around Shibuya, right? I don't know about that. Way back when, he'd been the leader of SOS. Nowadays, he was just some guy who picked up trash. It was nothing to brag about. When someone's famous, it's not unusual for someone else to recognize them and know their name. So yeah, I was surprised back there, but no matter what the man may have said, I trust you. I mean, look at how many times you put yourself in danger to protect me. Hitomi sounded pretty resolute. Achi was glad she believed him, but that raised another question. So then how come you've been so quiet? I've just been thinking about things. Like what that man from the scramble might be after. It was true of his actions. That his actions didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, he seemed more interested in taking out the man with the cane than going after you. Maybe there's bad blood. Maybe it was a case of mistaken identity. I need to drink more water. It's only been half an hour, and my mouth is dry. That's fine, though. Ugh, gonna stretch. Probably bad blood. Maybe there's bad blood between them. Achi let out a little chuckle. If we're lucky, maybe they'll take each other out for us. He felt a rush of relief, reassured that Hitomi didn't doubt his motives. Regardless, though, we have to track down that blue van. Sound of a child's cry came from behind them. Oh my god. Hannah can't catch a fucking break. Turning to look, they saw the kidnapper rushing towards them. He had knocked over a little girl who was in his way. No rest for the weary, Hachi sighed. Yet again, he and Hitomi sprinted away. Do you think he took out the guy with the cane? Hitomi's words came between panting huffs. Maybe? Hachi glanced back at their pursuer. What? There was someone else with him. Now they're being chased down by two foreigners? I like this better when we were just running from one guy with a cane. In a one-on-one fight, Hachi was confident he could keep Hitomi safe. One-on-two, though, that was a different story. One guy might get a hold of her while he was facing off against the other. He had to make sure they lost these creeps, no matter what. Keep that point! Alright, and then we'll do Minorikawa, and then we've done everybody in the circle. And then I'll go back around. Right. Left. Minorikawa sprinted down center guy, dodging between oncoming pedestrians. Out of my way! Can't you people see I'm in a hurry? He stole a glimpse at his watch as he ran. It was just after 1 o'clock. The Burning Hammer sales demo would be getting underway any moment now. He could probably get an interview even if he showed up late. Still, he wanted to get to the venue ASAP, to get a feel for things before they got started. The best time to scope out an event was before it started and after it ended. This was something he'd learned from Toyama. Everything he knew about journalism, the publisher had taught him. It had been a combative education, Minorikawa learning despite himself as the two men constantly butted heads. Oh, give me a break! What's wrong with my article? Minorikawa shouted. His voice was loud enough to carry throughout the editing department. Shut up! I told you to rewrite it, so rewrite it! Toyama, sticking to his guns. Minorikawa recalled the scene from the days when the two men had worked at the same newspaper, and Toyama was his boss. At the time, Toyama was the copy editor for local news, known as the Red Pen Gatekeeper, who would go around checking in reporters' copy like mad. Due to his vigorous efforts, a great many articles never made it to the page. What's wrong with it? Show me what's wrong. All of it! How can it be all of it? Coworkers stared, keeping their distance, as the pair screamed themselves red in the face. These arguments had become a regular occurrence, regular enough that everyone had learned not to try and intervene. I poured my heart and soul into this piece. Go back and read it again. I could read it over and over and it'd still be the same thing. A load of self-important claptrap. Now go calm down and write me a more neutral piece. Taking neither of two opposing sides, the media typically seeks to adopt a neutral stance in reporting the news. Frequently, however, biased reporting still results in one-sided thinking taking a hold amongst the general public. In the end, it's up to the individual to make an objective assessment of any news event. Calm down! You must be joking! I write what I feel in my heart. That's the one thing I refuse to back down on. That's the one thing that'll keep getting your copy rejected. Aren't you the one who told me to be bold and daring with my writing? Yeah, I did. But I don't remember telling you to write me garbage. By now, Minorikawa and Toyama were practically at each other's throats. Still, despite these almost daily shouting matches, Minorikawa never resented Toyama. Not really. How could he write a piece in a way that would shut Toyama up? Trying to figure that out was how he had developed his skills as a reporter. Up until he quit his position at the newspaper to start his own publishing company, Toyama had been a stubborn old man in the finest sense of the term. Now a dying breed in Japan, the sort who'd been inclined to use knuckles before words to remedy a child's bad behavior, inflexible but still emotionally brittle. Their signature move is to drive a wayward kid out of the house with an exclamation, "You fool! You're no son of mine! I disown you!" Only to wait a while, go find the son who's crying down by the dry riverbed and calmly murmur, "Come on, your supper's getting cold." But then, in order to keep his company afloat, at some point he had abandoned all his ideals and principles. It was disgraceful. Just disgraceful. Thinking about it made Minorikawa's blood boil. It rankled him to know that such a pathetic remnant of a man had been such an influence on him. He reminded himself once again that he needed to wrap up his current job as soon as possible. By now, Minorikawa was getting close to the demo site. He increased the speed. I'm taking another drink. He wound up barreling right into someone who was walking into a knick-knack shop. A newly opened general variety store, the place is primarily a second-hand shop with posters inside proclaiming things like, "We'll take what you don't need," and "We'll buy computers at top prices." I'm sorry, can we just take a second to look at the sculpture on the right-hand side? Yeah. Thank you for acknowledging it. I don't know what to do with that. It was a girl about high school age. She jumped to her feet, then snatched Minorikawa by the collar. "Hey, watch where you're going," she snapped. Her upper body strength was impressive, to say the least. The chokehold she had on his neck made it almost impossible for him to breathe. He had to do something fast. Oh my god! Why are these the options? Why is there an option to punch her? We're not gonna punch her. Oh my god. Sorry. He bowed his head in apology. He was in too much of a hurry to get caught up in an argument now. But the girl didn't let go. Instead, she tightened her grip. Look, I'm sorry for not looking where I was going. Minorikawa could barely croak out his apology. "Oh, fine. I'll let it slide this month," the girl said. She relaxed her hold with a scowl. "Wait, hold on," she murmured. She stared good and hard at Minorikawa's face. "Hey, you're Mr. Minorikawa." Surprised, Minorikawa gave her another look. "Miku? Hatsune Miku?" I'm kidding. "Yeah. Wow, so you do remember me." She smiled with delight, apparently forgetting that she'd just been wringing his neck. "Wow, how long's it been?" she asked. "About 5 years, I think. You still doing your bonsai stuff?" "Nah," she replied. "I gave that up." Miku had been a Japanese bonsai champion back when she was in middle school. The mention of bonsai likely calls to mind elderly hobbyists, but recently the art is attracting more young people, as there are other aspects of Japanese-style interior design. Varieties of cherry and maple, smaller than normal bonsai, are becoming popular with practitioners, as are fruit-bearing trees such as plumleaf apple. There are even spherical balls of soil covered in moss, shaped to look like cute little miniature planets, with plants growing over their surface. One day, local delinquents had vandalized dozens of Miku's bonsai pieces. Minorikawa had met her when he'd interviewed her about the incident. "I want to get strong," she said. "Strong enough to beat those guys up." And so, Minorikawa introduced Miku to an acquaintance of his who ran a martial arts dojo. Well, she got strong enough, oh my god. "Well, you've sure gotten strong, alright," Minorikawa said. "That's the sort of gal I am." Miko handed him a flyer. It read, "Ladies Mixed Martial Arts Pub Bride." What? A show pub that began as a side venture for a group of female mixed martial arts fighters who are facing financial difficulties. There's an octagonal ring inside the pub, and the rules state that anything goes between young women who fight inside. Customers are able to take in the fights while enjoying their drinks. Oh, okay. It's one of those. Present this flyer for a free drink. It's a place where you can watch girls fight in the ring while you have some drinks, Miku said. That sounds pretty fun, actually. Okay, I do admit, it does actually sound pretty fun. Minorikawa could feel himself being pulled in all the wrong directions by the prospect. "You should come see one of my matches sometime. I'm the reigning champion." Miku beamed with pride. "Wait, you're the champion?" Yikes, good thing I apologized when I did. See, punching her was not a good option. We would have gotten knocked the fuck out. "In that case, I'll definitely have to swing by sometime soon. Right now I'm in sort of a hurry, though." "Oh, sure," Miku said. "Catch you later, then." She headed into the shop as Minorikawa rushed off towards the sales demo. At long last, he arrived at the Nokane building, where the event was being held. The wall by the elevator was plastered with posters about Burning Hammer. "Get it or regret it," as seen in magazines. 100% weight loss guaranteed. This is blatantly false advertising. The messaging was kind of a mess. It felt like they'd been thrown together at last minute. Minorikawa avoided the elevator in favor of the stairs, rushing up to the event site on the third floor. Emerging from the stairwell, he saw more posters on the wall, pointing the way to the sales demo. He followed the arrows to a room deeper within the building. Opening the door, he saw about 50 chairs, most of them occupied by female attendees. There was a stage set up at the far end of the room, but nobody was on it. It appeared the event had yet to begin. Minorikawa quickly looked over the crowd. Roughly half the women were somewhat elderly. All of them looked like they could stand to lose some weight. And for some of them, at least, the ship had surely sailed some time ago. The crowd gazed on the stage with rapt anticipation. The beverage that allowed you to eat plenty and still lose weight was definitely an appealing proposition. Could something like that really exist, though? Well, Minorikawa was just going to have to wait and see. He did his best to get his mind into journalism mode. "Ladies, terribly sorry to have kept you waiting." At the presenter's cue, the cat mascot appeared and took the stage. The audience broke into applause. After waiting patiently for the applause to die down, the cat produced a small box from which she slowly pulled a pendant set with a blue stone. It certainly wasn't a diet drink, whatever it was. Minorikawa wasn't the only one who quickly realized that this was a Burning Hammer sample. After staying for a moment, the rest of the crowd began to fly into an uproar. "Quiet!" the cat shouted. Taken aback, the crowd kited down. The cat held the pendant up high so that everyone could get a look at it. "Do not take your eyes off this pendant. If you do, you will die. Oh my god. A jolt of panic shot through the room. Slowly, the cat began to swing the pendant back and forth. Minorikawa couldn't quite recall what happened after that. When he came to his sentence, he'd already pulled the 1,000 yen bill from his wallet. No, 10,000? Handing it to the man he assumed was the demo organizer. In exchange, he received a pendant, the same one as the cat had been holding. I've done it, Minorikawa muttered to himself excitingly. Clutching the pendant in his hand, he could feel the energy it radiated coursing through his body. The cat's monotone chanting from the stage sounded in his ears like a chorus of angels. Overwhelmed by a feeling of ecstasy he could only scarcely contain, Minorikawa repeated his words to himself. I've done it. With this, I'll be the greatest writer the world has ever seen. My articles will stir the emotions of the entire human race. They'll laugh, they'll cry, they'll tremble with fear. They'll jump for joy. No longer was the Pulitzer Prize a mere dream. It was practically already his. A prize awarded for excellence in journalism, literature, and music composition, named for American journalist Joseph Pulitzer, and active during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and administered by Columbia University, to whom he willed all of his money in order to establish a journalism school. 3 Japanese photographers have been awarded the prize in the past: Yoshiki Nago, Koichi Sawada, and Toshi Sake. Sake? Nope, I give up on that one. Minorikawa wanted. No, he needed to tell someone how excited he was. The miracle he'd attained to. He wasn't going to just squander himself on this. Oh no. A journalist of his stature needed to share what he knew with all of humanity. He opened up his laptop. He booted up his word processing program. He deleted all the articles he'd been working on. Oh my god, I love this game. He knew what he really needed to write. Special edition report on the Miracle Stone, only in 4-Star General Gossip spring issue. Must have stone, already many fashionistas' collections. Look out, world, mysterious gemstones set to change international balance of power. Blessed by the Miracle Stone, get your hot stock tips here. The pages originally slanted for the pros and cons of security cameras and washed-up screenwriters were instead filled with glowing praise and rave reviews for the Miracle Stone. I love how there's just straight-up hypnotism in this. Never had Minorikawa been more proud of his work. Back at 4-Star General Gossip headquarters, Minorikawa handed his articles to Toyama, who was sitting glumly at his desk. Toyama looked over them slowly. Then there was a lingering silence. Finally, he spoke, his voice subdued, but his words crystal clear. Yeah, this is all getting axed. I really love this game. It's so fucking fun. Ooh. Sorry, my back just cracked. It felt nice, but also I wasn't expecting it. Okay, let's... What did we start with? We started with Osawa. So let's come back around to do Osawa. And I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna be right back. Alrighty. Back to it. I don't deserve to be forgiven for what I've done. Okay. That should have been a warning for myself. I can't do medical stuff. We may have both done the same thing, but my motives, those were different, so I don't regret what I did. And yet, if someone were to ask me if there's some small part of me that wanted to see the results of my research, I could not deny it. Osawa grabbed his shoes from the entryway, then headed for the back door. He didn't want the detectives in his living room to know he was going to meet with Makino. That pest Kajiwara was nowhere in sight. Now was his chance to slip away. Gotcha. Oh! You are so creepy, Kajiwara. Go away. Kajiwara, stop being the creepiest man in existence. Speak of the devil, Kajiwara had snuck up behind him. You're so fucking scary. Jesus Christ, Kajiwara. Are you going out? The detective asked. No. I was just... Osawa felt something inside his shoe. Glancing down, he saw a rubber duck stuffed inside it. Is this your doing? I laid a booby trap, or rather a ducky trap. Booby trap, originally a type of lethal trap used during the wartime to clutch clumsy or unwary soldiers, boobies. Give me a sec. I'm sorry, I have the humor of a 5-year-old. In modern parlance, however, the term frequently signifies a harmless prank, such as setting a blackboard eraser atop a classroom door so that it falls onto the head of whoever opens the door. Kajiwara beamed with self-satisfaction. You know, you act like a grade schooler, Osawa said. Indeed, sir. I'm a grown man with a youthful heart. Leave it to Kajiwara to yet again miss the point entirely. With a sigh, Osawa tossed the duck at him. Kajiwara caught it nimbly in one hand, then stuffed it right into his pocket. I won't tell you that you aren't allowed to leave, sir. All I ask is that you tell me where you've been, and where you plan on going. My work is highly confidential. I'm not at liberty to discuss just about anything about... Please try to work with me on this, sir, Kajiwara interrupted. He leaned in, uncomfortably close. Do you recall what I said before? About how I'd appreciate if you didn't keep secrets from me? Osawa hesitated, inwardly debating how much he should share. He decided to tell the truth. He needed to keep his secret. I'm going to buy some cigarettes. Ooh. Fucking Kajiwara's face is so scary. Oh my god. I got it. Kajiwara, back up, please. I don't trust Kajiwara as far as I could throw him. I don't like him. He's terrifying. I feel like Kajiwara would kill me in my sleep. It's so scary. I'm just going to buy some cigarettes, he lied. Kajiwara flashed an awkward smile. Now that's odd. I didn't think you smoked, Mr. Osawa. I'm getting them for I never seen your wife smoke either, sir. And besides... Kajiwara leaned closer to him. No! Bad. I'm gonna punch you. Your wife isn't even home right now, is she? This wasn't going as Osawa had hoped. Evidently, he wasn't a very good liar. Even so, he decided to double down. All right, fine. It was actually Mr. Tanaka who asked me to get them. Oh, now that's surprising. Is that the sort of thing he'd ask of you, Mr. Osawa? Oh. I don't know if you all heard that noise, but there was just a grating sound in the background. I do like that. That's very good. But also, oh. Kajiwara was genuinely gifted at getting on one's nerves. Osawa barely contained an urge to punch the detective right in the face. Please do. He's too close. Please make him back up. Well, no matter, I suppose, Kajiwara went on at last. Just try not to wander too far. Oh, and also... He produced something that looked like a small transceiver from inside his coat. Please take this with you. What the heck is it? It's a bug tracker, sir. It'll beep in response to a nearby listening device. I don't need this. He pushed Kajiwara's hand and the bug tracker fell to the floor. Mr. Osawa, you mustn't underestimate the lengths to which these kidnappers might go. For once, the detective's face was all seriousness. All right, fine. Osawa snatched up the device and headed out the door. Minako's car was parked out front. A driver stood alongside it. Osawa exchanged a wordless greeting with him, then got into the back. He found Minako reclining in one of the luxurious leather seats. Now then, Minako said, what did you want to ask me about? Lighting a cigar, he glanced sidelong at Osawa. I was hoping you could explain the situation to me, sir. Which situation would that be? So, he was still going to beat around the bush, even now. Osawa suppressed an urge to shout at him. Are you the one who let the antiviral out of the lab, sir? Yes, that was me. Minako didn't bat an eyelid. So why had he been so coy a few moments early? But how? The fingerprint authentication system is almost unbreakable. Getting access to the storage area would... He trailed off as a thought suddenly occurred to him. It was not strictly true that the fingerprint authentication was the only means of entry. Osawa and Tanaka had both set up passwords as a failsafe in case an injured fingertip somehow prevented them from operating the scanner properly. But these passwords were 10-character alphanumeric strings. No one could just haphazardly fumble their way in. Could Minako have sent a request to the electronic locks manufacturer and asked them to unlock it then? No, that required the approval of 6 board members. And Osawa was one of those 6 people. There really seemed to be no way getting in without leaving a trace. You're absolutely right, of course, Minako said with a grin, as if reading his thought. I couldn't gain access to the lab without you and Tanaka. But I didn't have to. He exhaled a large plume of smoke. You remember when we released the samples for animal testing? No, it couldn't be. Osawa broke out in a sweat. Ah, but it could, Minako said. I had them divert some of the samples intended for animal testing. Naturally, that didn't leave any record of anything being taken from the lab. Osawa bit his lip hard. He couldn't help but feel betrayed by his company. But why? Minako let out a nasal, one-note chuckle. You don't seem to grasp just how valuable that thing really is. What do you mean by that, sir? Minako lowered his voice. There's a major world power out there that has already weaponized the UA virus. What the fuck? For a moment, Osawa thought this was just a sick joke, but the look on Minako's face told him otherwise. I had been informed that it was recently used on a military installation in the Middle East. Within 12 hours of dispersal, there were at least 800 casualties. If you include civilians, that number jumps to over 2,000. Any evidence of the disease agent and the bomb that delivered it has, of course, been covered up. Osawa listened in amazement. His outrage that any government would commit such an atrocity, not quite suppressing his excitement at discovering that the virus could be propagated by explosive means. He felt a flush of guilt at his own fascination. The antiviral you created, Osawa, has potential to render this weapon useless. Right now, Okashi Pharmaceutical possesses the sole means to combat UA. Minako's lips curled into a boastful grin. Any number of countries would love to get their hands on it. The major power in question has offered an unprecedented sum. And that's hardly a surprise. Having such a monopoly on the antiviral makes the weapon itself that much more valuable. To Osawa, this was a glimpse into another terrifying world, one he had barely imagined previously. And so, you wanted to get human testing over with as soon as possible. Is that it? He spat. Minako shrugged. I explained full well to the locals that the risks of experimentation were, and they were paid in accordance with said risks. They willingly consented to infection with the UA virus. Sophistry, Osawa held. Nothing more. You used money to deceive a bunch of poor farmers. Come on, Osawa. Who's being disingenuous now? Minako eyed him with contempt and let out another puff of smoke. I know you, Osawa, and I know you're not really concerned for a bunch of hick farmers. All you care about is your research. And the thing that's really nagging you right now is that someone went ahead and did the final clinicals without you. Oh, spare me the ridicule, sir. As a virologist, I have a mortal duty to... To what? Minako barked. Go to the media with this? Do you have an idea how much money the company has thrown at your lab to keep it up and running? Osawa's lab has incurred expenses of virtually 30 billion yen in developing the antiviral medication. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals spends approximately 200 billion yen per year on research and development. Osawa's work is the single most costly element of that budget. Osawa gaped. I do appreciate all the company has done for me, sir. He spoke so quietly that his voice was nearly inaudible. In any event, Minako said, now that you know about the human testing, I can't let you go to America. How did you know about that? He insisted that I keep his planned relocation a secret, but apparently she told her father regardless. If you insist on making the move anyway, I'll use any means necessary to stop you. Minako regarded Osawa with a bloodshot gaze. Any means necessary? Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. Sir, you don't mean... that my daughter's kidnapping was... Don't be ridiculous, Minako said before Osawa could finish. Of course that wasn't me. Nevertheless, I'll do what I must to keep you in the line. Remember that. Understood, sir. I'll turn down the U.S. job offer. Osawa heard his own voice like the thin drone of tiny insects. He felt utterly powerless. I can't simply take your word on that, Minako said. Do it now. I want to hear you do it myself. He jutted his jaw towards the phone in the back seat console. All right, he had no choice. Or couldn't this just wait a little bit? Ooh. That's an interesting choice to make. Maybe he could find his way out? Am I gonna sneeze? Maybe? The answer was yes. Oh, that feels better. Whew. That was a harsh sneeze. Hello. One moment. I need to blow my nose. That's better. Okay. Couldn't this wait just a little bit, sir? Osawa asked. Maybe you could still find a way out. You already know what my decision is, Minako said. His tone carried an edge of intimidation. Sawa didn't reply, he simply stared at the telephone. He felt like an insect who had all its legs plucked off. You need to think about your wife, too. Minako's words were barely above a murmur. Realizing his boss was speaking as Ai's father, Osawa couldn't bring himself to resist further. He reached out for the phone. It'd be around 10 p.m. local time for the American firm. He decided to call his contact's personal phone. The headhunter was shocked to hear that Osawa wanted to decline the position. When he pressed for reasons behind the decision, Osawa hung up. Visibly relieved, Minako lit up a fresh cigar. Sir, there's one thing I don't understand. And what's that? Osawa's head was feeling fuzzy. The smoke inside the vehicle had gotten extremely thick. If someone has this top-secret information, why wouldn't they threaten the company as a whole? Why send those emails to me, personally? I'm not sure. There's an internal investigation already underway. We'll find the source of the leak soon enough. At this point, though, Osawa wasn't sure knowing who had originally leaked the info mattered much at all to him. If you'll beg my pardon, then, sir, Osawa said. He put his hand on the door handle. And suddenly, a high-pitched chirp sounded from his pocket. The bike tracker Kajiwara had given him had picked up the signal. Is that your cell? Minako asked. Oh, yes, that's mine. He hurriedly hopped out of the car and reached into his pocket. Is everything all right, sir? The driver was still waiting outside the car. He leaned towards Osawa, looking concerned. Was it you? Osawa stepped close to the driver. Did you send me those emails? What? What are you talking about, sir? Don't play dumb with me, Osawa said. The only person who could have planted a listening device on a company car. Listening device? The driver raised an eyebrow in confusion. What are you after? Sir, what are you talking about? Who told you to do it? Tell me! The driver fled back into the car. Osawa clutched the bike tracker hard as he watched the vehicle pull away. The plot thickens. He went back to his house, still gripped by the confusion, to find Ai waiting in the entryway. I don't trust Ai. She must have gotten home while he was out. You were with my father, weren't you? She sneered at Osawa as he slipped off his shoes. Yes, I was, he replied. And it's over. What's over? She knows damn well what. He struggled to contain his irritation. America, I'm not going, he huffed. Oh, really? Well, that is good news. She sounds sincerely pleased. Maybe a little more pleased than Osawa cared for. I need to go finish up some work things, he mumbled. He hurried to his study up on the second floor. He threw himself down in front of his computer. There hadn't been any progression on the investigation, as usual. Just how long was this all going to go on for? Were all the kidnapping cases just run out? A specialized victim support team belonging to the Special Criminal Investigation Unit has been deployed at Osawa's house. The members of his team are all specialists who have received training in such skills as negotiation, high-speed motorcycle, and automobile driving, running phone traces, special communications, and phone records acquisition. Osawa was growing more and more uneasy. He could barely contain himself at this point. Wasn't there something, anything, that he could do? He glanced over his monitor. That's an idea. He could look up the kidnapping investigations on the internet. That might give him some insight into the current situation. Kidnapping, police investigations, hostages. He typed up the three keywords into the search field. The engine pulled up over 100,000 hits. He scanned the beginning of the list for anything that might be useful. One of the site links caught his eye. How'd the police do it? It looked like a page containing information on various types of police cases. He clicked on the link for kidnapping cases and began to read. Even if the hostage wound up safe in the end, the site informed him, the police lost face if the culprit got away. And if the hostage were killed and the kidnapper evaded capture, the media would have a field day. This made apprehending the suspect an absolute necessity. Even if a person's life was on the line, when it came to kidnapping case, the police prioritized making the arrest. Taking his hand off the mouse, Osawa sat back and thought. He wasn't going to be able to relax until he heard Maria's voice again. But if the police prioritized arresting the suspect, why were they just letting things stay in limbo now? Didn't they have the crooks under surveillance? He couldn't wrap his head around that. The internet hadn't been able to give him the info he'd hoped for at all. Unable to do anything for Maria, but wait, he turned his thoughts to how his opportunity to the transfer to the U.S. had passed him by. The research facilities in America would have been top tier. Some part of him still couldn't quite accept what had happened. He stole a quick look back at the door, then surfed to the Kamiki fan community for people 40 and over. Whenever something was weighing on his mind, posting to these forums seemed to turn his mood back around. He knew that now really wasn't the time to be doing this, but he needed to do something to calm and quiet his mind. He started a new forum topic. In the title field, he wrote, Aya Kamiki expanding into the U.S. With Aya Kamiki still at the height of her popularity, does anyone think it would be exciting if she ventured into the American market? I know I would. She's not the sort of artist who deserves to be confined to Japan. She should be recording at an American studio staffed by the industry's best. I'd love to see her career really take off over there. He wound up getting into a little back and forth with himself. Hopefully he'd get a response from someone else soon. A sudden shrill noise startled him so much that he nearly cried out. His heart fluttered like that of a young child who'd been caught in some prank. Realizing the sound was coming from the bug tracker, he pulled it from his pocket and took a few breaths to steady himself. Evidently, someone had bugged his study as well. Tracker in hand, he walked towards the center of the room. What direction was the signal coming from? He tried heading towards the window. Here, maybe? Next, he headed over to his desk. Here, too? The bag tracker was picking up signals from all over the room. Had there been that many listening devices planted in here? Mr. Osawa? It's Kajiwara. Ah, perfect timing. Osawa hurried to let the detective into the study. The bug tracker's picking up signals. Oh? Yes, from all over the room. What should I do? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. As if that's even possible right now. It feels like there must be tens, no, maybe 100 listening devices in here. Kajiwara didn't miss a beat. Let me be honest with you. That bug tracker is broken. What? Osawa's dumbfounded. Broken? But this is the one I got from you, right? Well, yes, but mine isn't detecting anything. Kajiwara produced an identical bug tracker from his pocket. As he said, he wasn't getting any signal. As I recall, Mr. Osawa, the one that was dropped on the floor when I was trying to hand it to you. Ah, yes, that's right. That must have been when it broke, sir. The strength ebbed from Osawa's body. He didn't even have the mental energy to be angry anymore. He gave the tracker a whack with the palm of his hand, and the beeping stopped. Right, he said. What can I do for you? Kajiwara clapped his hands together as if he'd remember something. Ah, right, we have a big problem. The toilet again? Osawa sighed. No, it's not that. It's something worse. Kajiwara's face turned grim. Something worse? We should probably listen to him. As much as we hate Kajiwara, we should probably listen to him. Had something happened to Maria? He needed to hear the detective out. What is it? Osawa asked. Go on, tell me. He did his best to remain composed. Well, you see... God damn it, Kajiwara! Oh my god. Well, you see, we ordered lunches for everyone, and it looked like there was 2 still left over, so I wound up eating them. There was an awkward pause. Osawa didn't have the foggiest idea of how to respond. My deepest apologies, sir. I ate the lunches intended for you and your wife. Kajiwara bowed profusely. And I really do need to apologize. They were tonkatsu bento boxes, and they were delicious. The meat was so tender, and the batter so crisp. With each and every bite, the rich flavor just filled my mouth more and more. Osawa felt a blood vessel burst in his skull. Listen, you. Get your goddamn act together, or... He didn't get to finish that thought. A pathetic little gurgle sounded from his stomach. Ah, see, Kajiwara said. You are hungry. He fussed sheepishly with his hair. At the talk of food, Osawa realized abruptly that he hadn't eaten anything since the night before. Shall I make something for you? The detective asked. This is all my fault, after all. You can cook? Osawa wasn't sure how thrilled he was at the idea of Kajiwara helping him. You mustn't judge people based on outward appearances, Mr. Osawa. Alright, fine, go ahead then. He's gonna burn the fucking kitchen down, oh my god. Yeah, a second. His newfound hunger was making it hard for him to think. It would certainly behoove him to eat something. He led Kajiwara to the kitchen. What's with that getup? Wearing an apron in the kitchen is a must, sir. A cartoon character printed on the apron Kajiwara is wearing is one of his own design. It's modeled after the MPD's mascot. His name is Pinpokun. Alas, it isn't naked. I don't want to see Kajiwara in naked apron. Oh my god, no. No one wants to see that, Kajiwara. No one. Naked? Oh, are you probably not familiar with the concept of the naked apron. The state of being entirely naked, save for an apron, a form of cosplay. The views from the front, rear, and sides all offer a certain appeal, but caution must be advised, as it may be difficult to stop arguing about which presents the loveliest sight of once the topic is raised. There are similar, more sexualized naked styles as well, such as the naked sock, the naked shoe, naked necktie, naked ribbon, naked scarf, naked collar, and so forth. Why do they give so many examples? Oh my god. I could No! Do not! No, that's quite alright. Where'd you get that apron anyway? It's mine, sir. Have you had it with you this whole time? Yes, in here. What? Sir, that is a denim apron. Those things don't fold down that small. How many... Are you fucking Mary Poppins? What the fuck? With a smile, Kajiwara pointed to his pocket. Of course, Osawa eased himself into a chair. His hunger was making him feel weak, and Kajiwara was making him feel like he was losing his mind. Oh, this is bad, the detective said. I need to whip something up for you fast. Definitely something's wrong if you don't even have a comeback. Osawa felt his anxiety mounting. Just what sort of food was this insufferable oaf going to make anyway? It's either going to be inedible or the best thing Osawa's ever tasted. There's going to be no in between. Probably nothing worth eating was his bet. For now, he'd just have to pray he wound up making something edible. Maybe it was better to ask Tanaka to make him lunch instead. Since Ai's lunch was gone as well, he should probably ask her to make something. I don't want to deal with Ai. I kinda want to see what Kajiwara makes. For now, you just have to pray he wound up with something edible. Kajiwara peered into the refrigerator. Goodness, you are remarkably understocked, he said. Let's see, could you please put that on the dinger, Mr. Osawa? Name for the sound a microwave oven makes when it's finishing your food. The microwave at my house doesn't really go ding when the timer reaches 0, though. It's more of a beep. But it doesn't make sense to call a microwave a beeper when that's already a word that refers to something else. The detective handed Osawa some frozen lumps of rice. The dinger? What the heck is a dinger? The microwave oven, sir. Osawa stepped in front of the microwave. Unfortunately, he had no idea how to work the controls. Oh my god! Wait. Osawa, have you never microwaved something? That's impressive at this point. You should thaw that rice out as soon as possible, Kajiwara told him. I'm actually not sure how to operate this thing. What? The detective gasped. You don't know how to use a microwave. Osawa could only nod in silent shame. It should be as simple as turning the dial. Wait, which one? That one, sir. The one on the right. Osawa turned the dial, then crossed his arms with a satisfied grin. Mr. Sawa, you need to put the rice in first before you do that. Well, then why didn't you say that? Osawa snapped. I've never worked in the kitchen in my life. Don't ask me to do things that are this difficult. Very well. I'll handle this from here. Why don't you get out the bowls and the chopsticks then, sir? I have no idea where the hell those are kept. Osawa, have you never entered your own kitchen? Kajiwara let out a heavy sigh. All right, then just please sit and wait, sir, he said. And here, take this. Kajiwara pulled out a sheet of bubble wrap from his pocket. Use your fingers to pop the bubbles. That should help you calm down. Give me a second. I fucking love this. Too drained to argue, Osawa did as he prompted and started to pop his way along the sheet. He got the sound effects of the bubble popping. Rather than making him calm down, though, it was making him incredibly cross. It felt more like some ridiculous punishment. They say you can learn a lot about a household by looking in the fridge, you know. Kajiwara's cooking something in a frying pan. And, Osawa asked, just what have you learned about mine? I'd better not say, sir. You might take offense. Osawa snapped another bubble between his fingers. Ah, the rice is finished thawing. Kajiwara topped the steaming bowl of rice with the fried egg he whipped up in his pan. Then, as if it was an afterthought, he added some pickled vegetables. Here you are, sir. Your fried egg on rice is complete. Simple dish, but not bad. One of Kajiwara's simplest recipes. Others include his white spaghetti, which is simply spaghetti that's been flavored with butter, salt, and pepper after it's been boiled. Yay, butter noodles! Both are a bit too basic to properly be called cuisine, but it does take a certain skill to bring the best flavor out of ingredients with such simple seasonings. Kajiwara grinned from ear to ear. Go ahead and eat it while it's still warm. Osawa received the bowl with a dubious look. You aren't very good at cooking, are you? He said. All you had in your refrigerator were eggs and pickled vegetables, sir. I assure you, it's quite delicious. I recommend breaking the yolk and mixing it all together. Reluctantly, Osawa brought a bite to his mouth. That's good. See, I knew it would be good. Look at how proud Kajiwara is, Jesus Christ. The words came out almost unbidden. Isn't it? Isn't it just? Egg yolk and pickled vegetables pair quite well. Osawa couldn't help but stuff his face, slipping into a rapturous daze as he did. The more he ate, the more it stirred his appetite. I had no idea fried eggs could be this delicious. I know you probably have a long ordeal still ahead of you, sir, but please, keep your chin up and hang in there. Kajiwara gave Osawa an admirable smile. Ah, that's right, he continued. And for dessert, we'll have bananas. No, thank you. Kajiwara grimaced as Osawa held up a hand in refusal. Right then, when you're finished eating, would you please wash the bowl? Me? Wash dishes? Osawa exclaimed in surprise, sounding like a petulant child. If someone else cooks for you, you should do the cleaning up. It's only polite. That is true. Fine, okay. While Osawa was doing the dishes, the bug detector went off again. Director, if you have a moment. Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you. Can we not zoom in on Kajiwara's face? And we're at another keep out point. Overall, we've kept pretty lighthearted today, which is good. I don't... Based on how long everything else has taken, I don't think we're gonna get through any of the others. Because, yeah. Kano's is probably gonna take 20 minutes. So I don't think we'll have enough time before end of stream to do another route. But that's okay. As a note, I'll be going on break this week. But I'll still be playing Ultima Academy over on Dryad Min's channel. When I come back on the 5th, it will be my anniversary. And I will tweet out what I have planned for that when that arrives. I have some cool stuff planned. But yeah, I'll announce it a bit closer. In the meantime, Let us look for somebody to raid. That is not the one I had my Twitch up on. Where is it? There it is. Actually, should I look for somebody to raid? I don't have any viewers. I don't have anyone. So I'll probably just wrap up stream today. And then for myself, I will go find somebody to watch. Yeah, I don't have anybody to raid anyways. Alright, well, I will see you all on the 5th then. Goodbye!